morning, boys and girls. Coming to you live from beautiful Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. We'll be out here for a couple of hours till 11 o'clock having some fun. You're more than welcome to come on by and join us like we do every Friday out here. And we will take you till 11, then we'll head off to Hialeah Park. Today's one of those busy days that we're running around like crazy, and we'll have a little fun throughout the program here. We got a bunch of things to talk about as we head into the weekend, of course, and get ready for the big playoff games. And it's interesting because of the storylines that are out there when it comes to the Tennessee Titans and the Dolphins and all of that. And to me, it's kind of funny, to be honest with you. It's almost like some of you out there, you are either fearful of Ryan getting there, or you want him to get there so you can just pick on the team or something and talk about why the team didn't do this or that or anything like that. And I don't understand why some of you want to torture yourselves with this crap. Be happy for the kid. He is what he is. And I think this weekend will kind of get it all exposed, unless if the Titans are able to control the clock by running the hell out of the football and keep them on the side for 4 quarters, then they'll be all right. But if somehow or another Kansas City is put in a position where they can take the lead and put the pressure on them to start matching scores, that's where I think it gets interesting, because that's where I think Ryan will then get kind of exposed, or we will be proven wrong that he has arrived and is a guy that can carry you. So these are things that we'll find out, but whether he does it or he doesn't, who cares? It doesn't affect your world. You didn't have that kind of team to help him. You did a little bit in 2016 when you were able to run the ball with Ajayi. Obviously, that helped him that year. And, you took the pressure off him because Ajayi was running the ball so well. But the part I don't understand is the people that get all frustrated with it. I mean, he's a great kid. Wish him the best. I still don't want him on my football team. Just like I don't want Nick Foles and I don't want Trent Dilfer. I'm not going anywhere with those guys. Yes, unless I have the perfect situation. And that's what you have to draft and develop. But you had 7 years with the guy trying to develop the perfect situation. You got as close as you can possibly get in 16, but you didn't have the Titans defense. And you didn't even have the Titans running game either. Because while Ajayi's good, Henry is way better. Okay? So that's just it. Those are the facts. Can't do anything about it. And this offensive line for Tennessee is superior to Miami's offensive line. You need the perfect situation. You're not going to win with Nick Foles. But if everything falls in place, he'll look good one year. And there are still Eagles fans to this day that actually think he's a real franchise quarterback, when he's not. He's a mediocre to bad starter, just like Ryan Tannehill. To me, none of this has changed anything. But it is funny to see how some of you out there, you're so uncomfortable with it that it bothers you. Why should it bother you? I hope he gets to the Super Bowl. I hope he wins it all, man. Good for him. He's a great kid. Mediocre quarterback, average on his best day, facilitator on his peak. Big deal. By the time you develop the right situation here, Ryan Tannehill's old at that point. You had to move on. You had to move on from not just Ryan, a whole bunch of players that you got rid of. It was time. Just be happy for the kid. That's all. Don't take it personal. Don't worry about it. It means nothing in the big picture. Like I've told you guys over and over again, take the Ryan Fitzpatrick, Ryan Tannehill test. Do you think Ryan Tannehill would have won 5 games this year with this team? No. Because all we ever did was, oh, no, he can't succeed because he doesn't have a line. He doesn't have a running game. He would have never won 5 games. He used to win 7 when you had half a decent running game, a couple of guys that could block, maybe a defense that stopped somebody every once in a while. You don't even have that now.
He had nothing. There's
right.
nothing.
There's nothing here. He would have never, Devontae Parker would have never had the year he had under Ryan Tannehill, not Fitzpatrick. We would have never seen the elevation of Preston Williams under Tannehill, or we did under Fitzpatrick.
Hearns wouldn't have gotten signed.
All of them, and Gesicki. All of these guys. Tannehill would not have improved the play of all those players, and you would not have re-signed a couple of those guys to contracts that, by the way, are very friendly to the team. So just let it go already. Really, just let it go. That's all. It's no big deal. Hopefully he wins, man. He deserves it. He's a great kid. He put up with a lot down here, took a beating, went through injuries. Like a lot of football players, they go through hell and back to play this game. Kid's gone through hell and back, gotten pounded, mostly his own fault. But, whatever. He still needs to, enjoy these kind of moments and let him enjoy it. Because I've got a buddy of mine. It's like, can you believe Ryan Tannehill? I'm like, yeah, big deal. Let him have some fun, dude. He's facilitating. He's doing what they ask him to do. They need a couple of passes. He comes through with a couple of passes. It's a shame, man. I wish some of you, Miami is in a much better place. And that's the way you got to look at it. Don't worry about anybody else. Worry only about your football team. Okay? And I get it. You have the people out there that are constantly in your ear trying to tell you what the worst thing that could happen is all the time, because that's how they live. Remember, those kind of people are the people that when you're getting married, you have that one friend, right? Everybody says they're happy for you, this, that. Even if they don't think your marriage is going to last, even if they think you are a disaster or your future wife is a disaster or that you don't get along, most of your friends and family members are happy for you, this and that. There's always that friend of yours that says, hey, dude, what about if you have to get a divorce? Right? You know that friend, right? And it's like, I had that friend when I got married 25 years ago, going to be 26 soon now. And I looked at him and I said, dude, I wouldn't be getting married if I had that in my mind. I'm not thinking about divorce. You don't think about divorce. He goes, well, you got to plan ahead maybe. And I go, no, you don't plan ahead maybe. You if you love somebody, you have conviction, you're committed, you feel good about it. You're in. You don't think about the worst, right? We start this business. I'm not thinking about failing. I'm not afraid to fail. None of us should be ever afraid to fail. What you should be never afraid of is taking on the challenge, because what you don't want is a regret. That's all. But it's funny because that's, you think, oh, well, what about if they've, oh, man, just don't worry about it. Dolphins are in a really good place right now. They have done things now that they've never done in their existence during modern-day football. And they have positioned themselves to really be strong down the line. And I thought they made incredible strides. Let me tell you, I talked to a couple NFL people, last couple of days. And to a man, they told me how impressed they were with Chris Greer and especially Brian Flores. Because under the circumstances, it's not easy. And yet they were able to really overcome. Because remember, everybody was talking about, well, the Dolphins quit. Well, nobody wants to be on the team. Everybody's asking to get traded. How can you do this? You're cheating the game. You're putting players at risk. Yada, yada, all that stuff. And yet they just stayed the course. They kept improving week in and week out. And they end up going 5-4 in their last 9 games with a team that is streaming guys off the practice squad. And if you don't think you're in a better place, don't worry about everybody else. Don't worry about what the Bills are doing. Don't worry about what's happening with the Patriots. Don't worry about Ryan Tannehill having success with the Tennessee Titans. It's all good, man. It's all good. Your time's going to come, Dolph fan. It's going to come. We're headed in the right direction finally. I truly believe it. But it just doesn't happen overnight. And again, I will say the first step's been taken. And tell me that after the way it all started and the way it finished, you don't feel better. Forget about the draft pick. That has nothing to do with it. I'm talking about the coaching staff. I'm talking about the Dolphins overall, from front office to coaching staff. You have to feel better about where you're at by the end of the 2019 season to where you were at the end of the 2018 season. Okay? Everything's blown up, Gase, whatever. It looks terrible. You've got all these cap issues, everything. And look where you're at now. A calendar year later, you feel better about your cap situation. You feel better about your draft situation. You got over 20 picks over the next 2 years. 20-something picks over the next 2 years. You got all that cap space. So you're going to be able to re-sign any of your guys. You're not going to allow them to leave unless you want them to leave. How about that? Remember the days where the Dolphins are cap-strapped and they can't keep them all? And they actually allowed them to get to free agency. They couldn't even re-sign them a year earlier. Those days are done. That's what I'm saying. It's just, don't worry about the periphery. Wish Ryan Tannehill the best. Okay? Wish everybody the best. Everybody that left. You can wish Kenny Stills the best and everybody else. And I wish Laramie Tunsil nothing but luck. I wish Minkah Fitzpatrick all the success in the world, unless they're playing the Dolphins. I want the Dolphins to kick all their asses. But in the end, the Dolphins are going to get to where they're going to get because of the decisions they're making with what they have. And, ladies and gentlemen, what they have is more than enough now to become a really good team down the line. They've got all the picks and all the cap space. Now it's up to the front office and the coaching staff to draft and develop and move on. They can find another Laramie Tunsil. They can find another Minkah Fitzpatrick. They can find them all. But that's their job now. And so far they've shown us that they can coach some guys. So let's give it some. Let's give this some time. Maybe we'll be able to, enjoy something really sweet down the line. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. And, of course, we do want to remind you about Moodius Dental. And tell our sponsors we sent you, of course. And they proudly support our podcast, folks. Go and get a free consultation from the implant and Invisalign experts. I got my Invisaligns on. I have them on all the time, folks, trying to straighten out, especially the bottom teeth here. And, in fact, those of you, when you see me at the draft, you'll see that I can show you my teeth, and they're going to be nice and straight and looking purty. 305-821-0231, whether it's an implant, whether you want to get Invisaligns, which, by the way, as you can see, I can do a 4-hour talk show every single day with the Invisaligns. They don't bother you whatsoever. You don't feel them anymore. Okay, once you put them on, at first, you're like, okay, and then there's an adjustment, and then you're done. And you're good, and you're comfortable. You're looking for an implant, you suffered some kind of damage, call Eric Mudias right now, 305-821-0231, cavities, teeth cleaning, crowns, whatever, you name it, they do it, and the most modern technology out there, too. So call Mudias Dental. Tell them Big O sent you, 305-821-0231, or go to mudiasdental.com. Live at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Yes, the finest dealership in the world. No better Acura dealership, man. That's why I'm telling you, you got to get on down here. Get some great deals. We're out here every Friday. We would love to see you. So if you happen to be in the area, remember you can download the podcast anytime. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all that good stuff. Give us a thumbs up while you're watching the broadcast on YouTube, of course. Spread the word. Big O Radio Show on YouTube. Got to get to those 1,000 subscribers. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. It's a beautiful thing. Anthony Perez says, Big O, great show. Do you think Flores is new? Chad was not right early in the season. New Chad. Especially with running game, but decided to wait to fire him so not to add more chaos. I don't know. Dude, I think you're talking about the O'Shea. You're talking about Chad O'Shea. Man, he's made several changes, and I don't have the answers to it. Nobody does. Nobody does. And nobody really knows how good one coach was or how bad they were. Was it the OC that was, not getting it done and Fitz was bailing his ass out? I don't know. I have no idea. Nobody really knows. You know what we know? The dude won 5 games with that team. Now it's up to him to win more next year because he'll have better talent. That's all. It's pretty simple. That's how I look at it. I don't care who's on the staff. That's his problem. No, seriously. Like, we make it sound like they acquired Wade Phillips or lost Wade Phillips. You know what I'm saying? It's not like the assistant coaches that they either are acquiring or losing are Hall of Fame caliber assistant coaches. Okay? You're not getting Dante Scarnecchia from the Patriots, who's considered one of the best offensive line coaches ever, or you're not getting or losing Alex Gibbs at offensive line. You know what I'm saying?
You know what this is, exactly what you were talking about with the people about Tannehill. We have no control over that. And it's about the glasses half. We got Chan Gailey.
Right.
The guy knows all kinds of offensive schemes.
He's way more.
He's an upgrade, right?
He's way more. Yeah, but then the negative is, he's been out of football for a couple of years. Does that mean that you don't know football? What has changed? I'm sorry. I must have missed it. I must have missed this new style of football that they haven't been playing in the last 50 years. Because nothing's changed in football. It's just
everybody that we've talked to said this guy was all about pass proliferation 20 years ago. He was ahead of.
Yeah.
That's where the game is at, right?
Yeah, he was playing spread with Fitz in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just okay, in the midst of everything in a positive momentum, let's just find something negative.
Right.
That's the part I do. Look, for the last 20 years, it's always been negative. So it's easy to find negatives. But do you have to find negatives when you have no substance behind it, by the way? You can't complain about a coaching change when you don't know anything about either coach. Like the high school coach that they hired or the other coach that they hired. The only guy we know is Chan Gailey. But all the other ones, we really don't know. And the guys he fired, we really don't know either. You know, if I had some kind of insight on it, on how that coach was a positive or was a negative, I'd pass it on to you. But I don't. So I can't, and I think it's crazy for any of us to assume, oh no, Brian Flores is making bad moves. Now you can call them interesting, you can call them different, whatever, but we don't know if they're good or bad because you're not educated enough on the guys that are leaving and the guys that are coming. So if you don't have the facts because you're not there behind the scenes, then how the hell do we know? All I know is I'm going to go by the track record of Brian Flores and what he has shown me so far in one calendar year. He's a solid coach. He's a consistent dude. And he's obviously demanding and doesn't mess around. So he wants to be surrounded by his guys. And if he felt that Chad O'Shea wasn't the guy, then you move on. Dude, you only get maybe one shot at this as a coach in the NFL. And let me be honest now. And if you're black, buddy, that opportunity is going to be a lot shorter, a lot more scrutinized, and you're not going to have the same leeway as the white guy. You think Brian Flores doesn't know that? So you think he's making changes because it's something just on a whim? No, dude, the guy is making changes because he feels this is the best thing for his football team. Whether it is or isn't, he'll find out, and so will we. But he's entitled to this. Because when you watch what happened in Arizona with a black coach, they got rid of him with a quickness. They didn't waste any time. Okay, Jim Caldwell has 3 winning seasons out of 4, 2 playoff appearances, and they fire him. And meanwhile, they've kept a white guy around. They can't put up a 500 season, forget winning season. So, listen, whatever you may think and question about Brian Flores, he feels it more than you ever will. So if he's making some kind of a change, he knows he has to hit on it. He's not going to get the same breaks that everybody else does because usually the minority does not. Okay? That's just the facts. That's just the way life is in the NFL.
You haven't even mentioned the deck being so stacked because of lack of talent.
Yeah.
No, ridiculously, I don't know there's ever been a team that has had that little bit of talent, right?
I talked about that. That's why you got. That's why he's earned this, because what he did was amazing to win 5 games with that team. And so if he feels like making a coaching change, then let him make the damn coaching change. That's all. But none of us really know anything. You know, I'd love to. When I went out on a limb, which I didn't really go much on a limb, but in that moment it was. When they hired Joe Philbin, I went out and said, this will be a failure. This guy's not the guy. He's not the communicator. He's not head coaching material. He won't be able to get a solid coaching staff around him. But that's because I know people in the Green Bay building. And so when people in the Green Bay building are telling me, we're surprised he's the one that got the job. Okay? So that's different. And I can go out on a limb and say that, and then obviously, at that moment, you're negative, You're negative. You're always negative. Well, what do you want me to do, bro? I'm just telling you what I hear and what I see. And so at this moment, none of us really know anything about these coaches. And that's the truth right now. Everybody that you read or hear or see, They're all just going off the seat of their pants. Nobody's saying, hey, I have insight that this coach was the difference maker and Flores is wrong. And they give you some kind of example or insight on it. Nobody's come up with anything like that. So if he felt that he had to make a change and that Chan Gailey's better than O'Shea, go for it, man. So it's your job. It's your career. I would imagine you know that more than I do.
You know what we know, O?
Yes.
That our coach, with little, nothing talent, went to New England, took away home field advantage, made them play wild card. They're out of the playoffs because of us 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we won 5 out of 9 to finish the season. That's what we know.
Right. No, I'm with you. And that's
why are we down? Why are people down? Why are people's glasses half full? The question they should be asking is, do we have ice cubes in that glass? We probably do. The way we ended the season, man, we were the facilitators that knocked the reason New England's not playing anymore, right?
Yeah.
We took away home field from them. Tennessee went in there and took them out. But we were the one that facilitated that.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
And to leave the season 5-4, do the math. That's a winning record. That we would have been competing if you put it over 16 games. We're competing for a playoff spot.
Oh yeah,
with that type of record. Okay.
Yeah. No doubt. 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, we got plenty of things to talk about. I'm wondering if I left my show sheet again at home, which is amazing. I'm looking for my show sheet.
You know what? We're at the 30-minute mark anyway. We're a little bit on the other side. You want to take a couple minutes?
No, I don't. I want to keep talking here on the program and continue here talking a little bit. But I do want to tell you that Choice Mortgage Bank is a proud sponsor of the program. They can get you into state rates under 3.5%, folks. This is why you need to call them right now. 561-441-2730. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. 561-441-2730. And they do it all: wholesale, conventional, residential loans, condo loans, reverse mortgages, jumbo loans, FHA, VA loans. Call them right now for a free qualification and consultation. 561-441-2730.
This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back here to Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Come on by 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. And, of course, those of you that are watching on YouTube, appreciate you, as always, keeping it locked here. Fred Hampton on the YouTube channel says, unfortunately, some Dolphins always look at a glass half empty, but like you say, it's a new Dolphins in town now, baby. And look, you're jaded. Those fans out there that look at it negative, and you can't sit back and just kind of like do what I do, actually. When it's bad, you just say it's bad. And when it looks like it's getting better, just say it, man. There's another see, here's the thing. Over the last several years, I would tell you, hey, Philbin ain't going to make it, man. He's not good. I'll tell you, Vontae Davis is immature when they draft him. I'll tell you, the Ndamukong Suh deal is not a good deal for the Dolphins. I can go on and on and on. You're signing old-ass Josh Sitton, last year, 2 years ago. All these kind of things that they do, and I've ripped them for it over the years. But you also have to take a step back and say, okay, and I get it, the last 20 years, they do almost everything wrong. So then you assume the next thing is wrong. And maybe you shouldn't, because I don't believe it is. I believe they're doing the right thing. And that's what you got to do. You take a step back, man. Just relax. It's getting better, actually. User Tom says, what's this rumor about the Dolphins are trying to trade for Burrow? I think they might be giving up too much. There is no rumor and there's no nothing. That's all just crap that people come up with. There are no reports of that. That's just idiots on social media trying to talk to each other and create fantasy trades. There's nothing out there for that. They're not gonna trade. They're not gonna get Burrow, man. All right? It's just I can't see that. You know what I'm saying? And it would be ridiculous to give up the house for him. I love how he plays, but he's still a one-year wonder. And that would be a monster risk on their part. Alonzo Highsmith will not be joining the Hurricanes no more. Well, I saw that story, and you guys know that at first, I found it to be kind of a story that's kind of silly. I didn't like it because I didn't think it was gonna put Alonzo in the right light. Plus, I want Alonzo to get a GM job in the NFL. Now, last time I checked, he's black, so that may be a problem for him to get that GM job in the NFL. I get it. So maybe he's losing hope that he's not going to get the opportunity that he's worked his ass off for to get. And so I wasn't a fan of this move, but thinking about it after and thinking that maybe this is why it's talked about, because he knows in his eyes he's not going to get the opportunity in the NFL, or he's going to be like 800 years old by the time they offer it to him. Maybe he wants to just come back to the U and truly fix the U because he loves the U. Okay, this is the one job, I'm sure, college-wise. He's not a college guy. So all of this would be somewhat of an adjustment to him. Now, he goes into many colleges where he gets to see how everybody does things. So he knows which are the colleges doing it the right way and the wrong way, right? And so I kind of turned, and you gotta look at things objectively. And I became a guy that was on board with this because of Manny Diaz and now Blake James. We got to start throwing Blake James in the mix because Blake James really doesn't look like he really knows sports and football. And so he's kind of more of a fan than anything else. And listen, let me tell you, that's been a problem with the University of Miami for many years. This is why when you guys would talk about Mario Cristobal now, I would laugh. Because if you're Mario Cristobal, it would be catastrophically stupid of Mario Cristobal to leave Oregon and come to Miami now. Why? Because the people above the Athletics, they're not really sold on football. Clemson eats and breathes football. Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, these kind of schools. It's not just their coaching staffs. It's not just the athletic department. It's the administrators. Everybody is crazed about football. That's why Baylor can have a scandal, rock that program to its core, and bounce back and be better than Miami again. And guess what, folks? It's because they're rabid fans of college football. You're going to tell me that the University of Miami administration is rabid about football? Tell me about that. Please, explain. Because Shalala wasn't. And I don't believe anybody else is there now that's currently there. Mr. Frank or anybody else. They're not. Man, they've done enough to window dress that they are committed to football, but they haven't really gone all the way. And I'm not talking about buying players. I'm not talking about dropping off bags of money or no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the real commitment it takes to have a great football program. Coaches, assistant coaches, facilities, every kind of amenity that you can possibly have, all of those things. We don't have that. We don't act like the Gators. We don't act like the Seminoles. When you're crazed about football, you will write a $20 million check to kick somebody in the ass right out the door. Okay? While it was crazy what they did with Willie Taggart, it's dedication to football. You're not going to get that at the University of Miami. So if you're sitting there and you're Mario Cristobal and you have state-of-the-art everything in your place, okay? You got players sleeping in pods inside a Death Star room. Okay? You got everything in that facility. You name it, they got it over there at Oregon. You come to Miami, hey, we don't have this, we don't have that. We had this at Oregon. We didn't. Mario would go crazy. You don't leave Phil Knight's money. My brother, you don't do that. You win there at Oregon, oh, my Lord, Mario will be God forever there. I mean, he's already kind of God. He won the Rose Bowl, dude. So now Alonzo isn't coming. And what does that show? There isn't a crazy approach to football. You'd rather leave the athletic director that clearly doesn't know what he's doing. You'd rather leave the head coach who clearly showed you he was not prepared for this job. Okay? Hey, I like Manny. I wanted Manny Diaz. But when you're wrong, right? And right now, those of us that wanted Manny Diaz, which is most of us, we have to admit we were wrong. Manny has to make this incredible turnaround to prove to us that we were right about him. And I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. And I'm dead set convinced that Blake James and Manny Diaz knew that if Alonzo Highsmith was coming here, their days were numbered because they weren't competent enough to keep that job. Okay? Blake James has made no impact so far in the athletic program. This was his opportunity, and so far he failed. So his priority is to make sure Manny succeeds, because if he doesn't, when they fire Manny, they will fire Blake James at the same time. And let me tell you something. What Blake James and Manny Diaz just did right now by putting the kibosh and making sure that Alonzo doesn't come on board, because the Board of Trustees and all those folks, a lot of them wanted Alonzo. Well, now the ball is in the court for Blake and for Manny. You talk about pressure. Man, the pressure now has been ratcheted up 1,000%. And Manny Diaz and Blake James better come through this season. There better be severe improvement. There better be no lack or no showing of incompetence like there was last year in many instances. And if that doesn't happen, changes are coming. You can bet your life on that. Changes are coming. Just saying. You want to get back to being at least a really look. They're never going to be what they were in the 80s and the 90s. You guys can stop with that already. That's never going to happen again. That was a once-in-a-lifetime run. That was a different era of college football. Maybe you can get to the point where you're pretty damn good every once in a while and you'll be in the mix in the playoffs. That's about it. But you can't get there if the administration doesn't pick up an absolute sickness for football, because that's what you're competing with. And if you don't have the passion for football that they have at Ohio State, you will not compete. That's it. It's over. You know, at Ole Miss, they will have more than Miami. Most of the SEC schools will have more than Miami. Let's see what happens from here on out. But Blake James and Manny Diaz sent their message. They didn't want anybody overlooking them, because that's what Alonzo would have been. He would have been overlooking both Blake and Manny Diaz. And I'm sure when it's all said and done, both guys were going to lose their jobs, and they knew it. If they were confident about their abilities, they would love to bring on Zoe, because he would complement them. They didn't feel that. Alex says, if Lamar couldn't take the team to the Super Bowl with what he had this year and the momentum he had then, he will never do it, and that goes for Tannehill. Well, yeah, this is the window. I would agree with that. I would agree, because you're going to figure out Lamar more and more next year. Defenses will, too. They'll see what the Titans did, and they will duplicate it. Will the Heat make a deal at the deadline or earlier? They'll try, but it's going to be really hard, my man. It's hard to think that you're going to get something valuable in return, because all you have are bad contracts. And in order to get something good, you would have to then give up your young guys. And that's just not smart right now. Just stay the course, and unless you can dump these bad deals, just wait till these bad deals expire so you can get your cap space. That's what I would do. I want to see a Bam bully his man in the paint. He has to add that to his game. He is big, physical guy. Go Heat. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know about that. We'll find out if the thing about Bam is I'm not sure he's a banger. You know what I'm saying? If you want Alonzo Mourning out of Bam, I don't think that's his game. I think he can use his athleticism down there in the paint, but I don't think he's going to be the guy that you're going to throw it into the paint and dribble, shoulder dribble, hook. I just don't see that. That's not his game. You know, if he adds it, okay. But I can't see that being the centerpiece of what he does. Okay? 786-322-1105 on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Big O, do you think the Canes land king? Well, I don't know. He's going to visit now. We'll find out. That's a great question. They certainly look. You can't get enough quarterbacks. So if you can recruit 10 of them, go recruit them. Why not? That would be awesome. You know, I think that would be really, really cool. If you could get him, awesome, and you can have him and Van Dyke. This way you don't have to count on the other guys, Nkosi or Jaron or Martell. Wait a minute, does Martell even have another year left? He probably doesn't want to play anyways. He probably wants to just hang out with his Instagram girl. I'm serious. I mean, you know. I love it.
You're going to forget about Martell. We have this whole offensive package, set up for just Martell. Remember, we did those two or three. He had that one The one possession, the 3 plays, remember? Mm-hmm. It was so awesome.
Yeah, he's Tate Martell.
Louisiana State game, right?
Yeah.
The one possession.
What's my Super Bowl pick? I am going San Francisco and Kansas City, and San Francisco winning it. That's where I'm going. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay? Speaking of picks, we went 4-3 again last night in the NBA. Back-to-back winning nights. We are making our way back. I love it. That is beautiful. That's fantastic. If you want to get in, Betty Simple, 786-322-1105. Heat, by the way, are going to take on the Thunder tonight at 8 o'clock. Heat are 28-12, and they're 10-11 on the road. So this is a nice opportunity for them to get back to 500 on the road. OKC, it's interesting because they're 12-4 in their last 16, but they're 3-3 in their last 6. Losses to the Lakers, Philadelphia, and Toronto. So they're losing to some of the good teams here lately. Hopefully, they can overcome and win on the road. Let's see if they can do that. By the way, Andrew Ivins from 247 Sports, the man that broke the story with King visiting the Miami Dolphins, is going to join us in a couple of minutes here at the top of the hour. So we'll talk to Andrew Ivins from 247 Sports and get the latest on King, the player, who, by the way, what did he toss? Like 50 touchdowns or something like that? 36 passing and 17 or something like that, or 15 running. De'Aaron King, let's see, 50 touchdowns, 36 passing, 14 running in 2008 for Houston. We'll talk to Andrew Ivins about that. And we'll talk to him about his thoughts about Alonzo Highsmith not coming to the University of Miami. All of those kind of things. We'll have a little fun with Andrew Ivins from 247 Sports. Okay? We'll do that at the top of the hour. The Hurricanes are a mess of a program. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Bam is a great big man for this modern NBA. Yes, he is. Reeser says 2 years left. Oh, wow. He does? He has 2 years left? Wow, I hope he transfers. Martell likes racks. I'm with you. I mean, who doesn't like a great rack? So Martell should be doing commercials for Pallet Rack City, is what you're saying. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like a great rack, you go to Pallet Rack City. So maybe did Tate Martell meet his girlfriend at Eddie Pereira's place at Pallet Rack City? Is that what happened? So now we all know, gentlemen, the hot women are at Pallet Rack City. That's why they're called Pallet Rack City. They got the hot racks. Nothing wrong with that. We all love a hot rack. Come on, man. Hot racks are absolutely phenomenal. It's a thing of beauty having a hot rack. By the way, I do want to remind you that tomorrow we will be live, all the way live. Don't even have to walk. Don't even have to talk. We will be at Mad Dog. That's right. We will be doing our broadcast at Mad Dog Sports Radio tomorrow, 3 to 7 in the afternoon. So we'll have a little fun doing a little national stuff there on the program. And then Sunday we'll enjoy the AFC and NFC championship games, get a little sleep, and then get in the car and go to the Senior Bowl and have some fun. I love it. It's a beautiful thing. All right, let's do this. Let me tell you a little bit about Pallet Rack City. Let's talk about Pallet Rack City because Eddie Pereira and all the amazing people out there, your one-stop shop for all of your warehouse needs. Listen, if your warehouse is looking like a mess, you want to make it look hot, you want to get it in order, then you got to get great racks. And the best place to get a rack, new or used, is at Pallet Rack City, baby. Call Eddie Pineda right now. Save that cell number, 305-887-9212. Make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. Any and all of our sponsors, make sure that you tell them we sent you, because that way, they know that you're listening and all of that good stuff, and it keeps us around a little bit more. All of that, of course. I mean, the downloads are phenomenal. We are breaking records every single day. I can't even thank you for that. Next thing is, let's make sure that when you visit our sponsors, you tell them 305-887-9212. They specialize in knockdowns and installations of your warehouse equipment. They also sell used forklifts and dock equipment. Anything you need for a warehouse, they've got it. All right? Call Pallet Rack City, 305-887-9212 for the hottest rack in town.